Okay, 8th graders, this is your homework for your lesson 6-2. So I will go ahead and get you started on number 1 and number 3 for this page. So it says plot the ordered pairs from the table, then graph the function represented by the ordered pairs and tell whether the function is linear or nonlinear. Tell whether the function is proportional. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. It gives me a table with the x values, but it doesn't give me the y values. So here is the easy way, at least for me, but I'll give you both ways actually. Let's start with the one that involves you doing the math separately for each point. So this is your rule. 5 minus 2 times whatever this is. So this would be 5 minus 2 times whatever the x is. So you take that same rule and instead of x you write whatever the value is. So you can do that individually. 5 minus 2 times -1, and I know that the value is 7. So that is actually your first point, -1 of 7. Now if you don't want to do it that way, you can always, again, you guys have a graphing calculator, click on y equals, put in your rule or your equation, 5 minus 2x, and click on graph. Now, this doesn't tell me the table of values, so remember how it says table here in blue? You hit the second blue button right here, click on table, and now you're at the table of values. So you use the arrows to get to the x point that you want. My first x point is -1, so I'm going to go up on there you go, -1, and it's 7. So let's go to x equals 1. When it's 1, y is 3. Let's go to 3 and use the arrows to move down. When it's 3, y is -1. And when it's 5, y is -5. So you can use either of those two methods to complete your table, and then you graph. We already graphed the first point, so my next point is x1, y3. x1, y3. x3, y -1. 3, -1. And then 5, -5. There we go. So that is my first one. And let's pick first. Is this linear or nonlinear? It makes a straight line. So I would say linear. But it does not go through the origin, so it is non-proportional. So use the same process to find the table of values here, graph it, and say whether it's linear or nonlinear. For 3 and 4, you're explaining whether each equation is a linear equation. So you know what? Go back to your calculator and input that equation. X squared minus 1. And graph it. Nope, it is nonlinear. Nonlinear, not a straight line. And remember how we said that the exponent could only be 1? There's an exponent of 2 here, so that's another explanation. Exponent is 2. The exponent cannot be 2. Okay, go ahead and do 4 the same way. Number 5 you can skip. Then the rest of these are very much like problems that we have done before. State whether the relationship between x and y in this equation is proportional or non-proportional. If you're not sure, you can graph it. I'll actually help you with graphing the function because this graph is for this. Remember that this is written in y equals mx plus b. So we graph the y-intercept first, which is -5. looks like this is going by 2's. 2, 4, so 5 is in between the 4 and the 6. And my slope is 4 over 1. So I'm going to go up 4, so 1, 2, 4 right here, and over 1, which is halfway. Okay? So you can kind of keep going that way. Now you can tell right away, either by looking at the equation or by looking at the graph, whether it's proportional or non-proportional. I'll let you answer that. For 7, the Fortaleza telescope in Brazil is a radio telescope. Its shape can be approximated with this equation. Again, it gives you the equation. Is the relationship linear? Is it proportional? Again, take your handy calculator, input that equation, and see if it's linear or nonlinear. Kylie spent $20 on rides and snacks at the state fair. If X is the amount she spent on rides and Y is the amount she spent on snacks, the total amount she spent can be represented by this equation. Is the relationship linear? Is it proportional? So it's not written in y equals mx plus b, but I'll help you out. This equation is the same as saying y equals negative 1x plus 20. So again, you can use your graphing calculator or your other knowledge and figure out if it's linear or proportional. And for 9 and 10, they go very similar to our notes. The drill team is buying new uniform. The table shows Y, the total cost in dollars, and X, the number of uniforms purchased. Use the data to draw the graph. So again, these are your points. Draw the graph. Is it linear? And use your graph to predict the cost of 12 uniforms. So 12 would be over here. So it's going by 1. So this is 11 and this is 12. So you're going to go off graph a little bit. You're going to have to add another grid there, but you can still do it. And last one up. Marta, a whale calf in an aquarium, is fed a special milk formula. Her handler uses a graph to track the number of gallons of formula Y the calf drinks in X hours. Is the relationship between X and Y linear? So you can kind of look at it over here. So you're going to have to determine whether that is a linear and relationship and whether it's proportional. And that is your homework.